Most of us grew up with a sense of adventure, playing in the dirt, staring up at space, and doing things Mom told us not to do. That sense of wonder and rebellion is woven deep into our being. But somewhere along the way, I think we lose it. When I was a kid, I always wanted to be a cowboy. And as it turns out, I wasn't too far off. I guess I'm just one of the lucky ones. Or maybe I just never grew up. Either way, this life isn't for everybody, but it's the life we chose.
My name's Brock Ball. I grew up right here in Idaho Falls. When I was a child, my father was a pig farmer. Growing up, some of the earliest memories I have were outside. I always loved being outside. I always loved having a fishing pole or a BB gun in my hands. I just had the best childhood growing up on this farm.
My name's Brigham Ball. Just grew up running wild, shirtless with a BB gun. Just living the dream of a little kid. A lot of good memories on that hog farm.
I grew up in a time where they kind of was boys would be boys, and we could get away with a lot of things that kids these days can't do. Grabbing onto bumpers, sliding through ice, tearing up the school parking lot, kind of reckless, a little wild, and always down for a good time. The state of Idaho is a wonderful state. Idaho specifically is where we live is a high mountain desert, so we have lots of sagebrush. But we have the Snake River that runs right through the middle of it with one of the largest aquifers. So we're able to produce, fields and fields and fields of alfalfa, potatoes, corn. We have an abundance of wildlife. We have moose, we have bear, lions, bobcats, elk, deer, wolf, you name it.
There's world-class fishing here. A lot of people, do a lot of hiking, rafting. We have Yellowstone National Park that's only, an hour and a half away.
It's just a wonderful state to live in. At the moment, we have 4 different ranches. One of the locations is Malad, Idaho. We have 2 ranches down there. We call them the Elkhorn Ranch and Meadow Ranch. And that's where we run 2 different groups of animals. Our other ranches are in the salmon area. I think our salmon ranches are some of the most beautiful ranches around. The grass stays green all year long, and then it kind of fades off into some rolling hills that's just full of grass, and then you'll hit timber, and then the timber, it just shoots straight up, and then you get these north-facing slopes, and they're capped with snow almost all year long. You're going from 10, 11,000 feet peaks all the way down, it's just this massive background of beauty pretty much everywhere you look.
Okay, I'm Roger Ball, better known as Grandpa or Gramps. How did I get started with the bison? When we started producing meat snacks, I started to make bison jerky. But the problem was I couldn't buy enough bison to fill that demand. So I started raising bison. That was back in the early 80s. We built up a herd of 500 or 600 head of bison cows that we ranched in Montana, in the big whole country of Montana. A lot of people ask me, how do you raise bison? We've always raised beef cows also. The beef animal is dumb.
So bison and beef cows are very different. The way that we handle them, the way that we raise them, as a general rule, bison are more temperamental, they're more aggressive.
Bison are smart. They smell, they hear, they have a natural sense of wild.
The bison is the most powerful animal I've ever been around.
Bison's horns are weapons, literally. So what you have is you have a wild animal versus a tame animal, a domestic animal versus a wild one. The biggest challenge with bison is their fear, their stress level. You can't stress a bison. If you stress a bison too much, then you throw them completely off their schedule. The mothers won't breed. They won't gain weight. So you have to know what you're doing when you raise bison. But they are extremely powerful. They are extremely smart. You think you can sneak up on a bison? Give me a break. You never trust them. As soon as somebody gets to where they trust a bison, I don't care who it is or what it is, then you are doing the wrong thing. Believe me, I know.
You all right?
Yeah, I'll be okay.
Can she move?
She'll move.
They're extremely quick. You know, you look at this great, big, massive animal, but they are quicker than a cat. Boy, when a bison's tail goes up like that, it's too late.
There's something about bison that kind of demands respect, and that's something that I really like about them. You kind of have to have an attitude and a mindset that's the type of animal that you're working with. There's inherent dangers that you really can't avoid.
Our meat snacks business has always grown. It's been very dynamic, at least in my opinion. Our need for bison meat has continued to grow. So at any one time, if you actually had a head count, we would have somewhere between 3,500 and 5,000 head of bison. We probably process 3,000 or 4,000 head of bison a year in our operations. The greatest meat that comes off our land is that of the bison. So I call the bison the lobster of the land.
I feel lucky. I get to work with these bison every single day, and me and my brother, we get to be around them. We get to work with them. We get to watch them. And there's just really something about that draws me in, always has. You can feel their footsteps. And when there's hundreds of them, it shakes the ground. There's something about that really makes me excited. And some people think that we're a little bit crazy doing what we do, but you know, when it comes down to it, it's what I love doing, and I wouldn't do anything else.
These animals, they're wild, they're stubborn, they're unruly, and when you step out of your truck, you have got to have the same attitude and the same mindset as them. Otherwise, they're going to take advantage of you all day long. When our bison herd is doing well, my family's doing well. There's a direct correlation between the health of the bison herd and my family, and I have to do my very best, even if it means getting up early, staying out late, to make sure those animals stay healthy so that my family can have the things that they need to survive in this life.
We're just getting ready to head into our busy season when we work all the bison. So we're gonna bring them all off the pastures. We'll run them all through one by one into a squeeze chute. That's where we're gonna check their health. You know, if they have any injuries or anything like that, like right now is the time that we're gonna treat that. Also, we're gonna vaccinate. So we give them vaccinations that are, you know, designed to help them with, you know, any respiratory illnesses that could come up, you know, treat them for parasites if they need it. It's also a time where we preg check the mother cows. So, you know, we'll have a vet that's there and he will check every single animal that's eligible to be pregnant. He'll check and see if she's pregnant or not.
This time of year, it's all hands on deck. Every man is working. Sometimes our family show up, our dad shows up, and also some of our friends and our buddies show up. One of those buddies that we can usually get to turn up for a couple of days is Tyler Gebs.
Brock thinks you can take me.
I'll whoop your ass 6 ways to Sunday.
You're lucky my back's sore.
Tyler is our buddy. He is Brock's age. They went to high school together. I think they started hanging out sometime in high school, freshman, sophomore year.
The first time I met Brock, I thought he was like the Gap poster child. He was like a surf bum. Thought he was pretty cool. I didn't like him.
Me and my other buddy were gonna go dove hunting And I rang up his house, and his mom answers, who, well, lady's a saint. You can hear her say, "Tyler, Brock's on the phone." And then Tyler comes up, he's panting, you know, "Hello?"
He invited me to go dove hunting with him and Nate the next morning. And so I never passed an opportunity to do that. So I went and spent the night at his house, and the next morning we went dove hunting.
He was as giddy as a kid on Christmas morning to finally hang out with me and Nate. Just kind of raised him as one of our own. He was kind of an outcast.
I don't even know if we shot a dove that day, but we had a good time.
He's a fireman, he's an EMT, so with his schedule, he gets a few days off, and we capitalize on those days off. We bring him up and we work him like a mule.
I love working buffalo. I love getting up to the ranch and helping with whatever I can, and it's always an adventure with these guys.
The only problem with bringing Tyler along, T-Bone, is the pranks.
About a year ago, Brock's gloves came up missing. Instantly, he blames me, and he blames his dad. And little did he know it was actually Brigham. It was cold outside, and Brock's hands are freezing, and "Where's my gloves? I can't find my gloves." And I'm just standing there talking to Ben and talking to somebody else, and Brock finds his gloves and just come up and kidney shot punched me and dropped me to my knees, and I was just like, "Oh!" And he's like, "Why'd you take my gloves?" I was like, "Dude, I didn't take your gloves." And ever since then, I'm like, I gotta get them back.
Last night, I start brushing my teeth, and these two guys start giggling like schoolgirls upstairs, and I'm wondering, what the hell? I'm like down here brushing. Like, what are these guys laughing so hard about? Like, they're dying with laughter.
I took his toothbrush while he was downstairs, and he was probably booby trapping the stairs with fly traps or something stupid like that. I just got this wild hair, and I shoved his toothbrush up my butt crack, took a picture of it, and then put it back in his little girly bag that he carries around.
Well, all of a sudden I get a text. Pick up my phone and I open it up, and there's that picture of Brock's toothbrush stuck in Tyler's butt, like just in his butt crack. And he's just laughing. Of course, like, I died laughing too. I'm like, that is the most messed up thing you've ever done to your friend. Well, then like 10 minutes later, Tyler sends the picture to Brock.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. Like,
And I just got done brushing my teeth.
Yeah, with that toothbrush.
With that toothbrush.
Yeah.
After it was in that fat ass.
I mean, it's funny.
It is. I mean, it's. I can't.
It's funny.
It's funny, but
it's crossing a line.
you crossed a huge line.
We were laughing so hard, and by this point, I'm actually getting pretty worried. I can get Brock, but it's always gonna come back.
An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I'm gonna full draw. He's gonna put his arm in there. I'm gonna let it snap, and then we're even. Right?
Yeah.
On the bottom or on the top?
Top. No, bottom. I get a pick. I get a pick. You shouldn't have said.
It's gonna hurt so bad. Get it over with, dude. Just get it over with. It's gonna hurt.
Well, there's a solid line right there.
Oh yeah.
There's a solid line for sure. We're square.
Square until I get you back.
We're square.
You gotta be on your toes with tie around.
He's gonna get it. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but he's gonna get it.
The working season for us begins the start of November and ends in probably January.
I love and hate this time of year. It's in my blood, like I love doing it. At the same time, it can also be really miserable.
It's some of the funnest months because you're able to see your animals up close, you're able to touch them, you're able to look at their tag numbers and see how each individual animal is doing. But at the same time, it's exhausting. It'll rain, it will snow, it will freeze.
If there's something crazy that's gonna happen, it's usually this time of year. That's like, you know, when we're in with them confined, we're right there face to face with them.
Every year, something happens where you're like thinking, holy smokes, that was close.
I'll give you an example of when you get too lax with bison. I'm an old man. I'm 80 years old. When these boys take me out to the bison ranch, they take pretty good care of me. You know, they say, "Grandpa, how are you doing? You know, are you keeping up?" Or, you know, they look after me just like I used to look after them when they were 6 years old, and wiping their nose and tell them to be quiet when we're hunting. You know, well now that's what they tell me. All right, well, we're working bison, and I'm sitting on a chair against the fence about probably 14 or 15 feet from the chute that we're working the bison in. I'm sitting there kind of nonchalant, but this one big old cow got her horn on the outside of the chute some way and unlocked the chute. So the door flies open. Holy moly, and here comes this big old cow, just madder than a hornet, right at me, just right at me.
And she had nowhere to go. So she you should have seen the vet. The vet like runs full speed and just bails into the bed of his truck. Dudes are climbing up fences.
Well, she hit me. And one horn went right under my armpit right here, and she threw me in the air. Then she let me down, and then she started stomping on me and blowing snot all over me, and roughing me up. Pretty quick, she turns around and runs down the fence. I thought, whew, I got away with that. And I started crawling up the fence, and then here she come back.
And that cow was coming down the fence line, and I can see, like, it's gonna get him.
Well, she got about, maybe 25 or 30 yards from me, and Brock was recognizing that she was getting Grandpa again. He jumped off the fence, grabbed her by the tail. And so he distracted her, and she whirled around and tried to get him. Well, he's a young guy, can jump up a fence, and he jumped up the fence. Anyway, we got away, right?
You never know what's gonna happen. You never know.
Don't turn your back on a bison, because if you do, it may be the last time you do that.
Hey!